Hi everybody, it's Shea. Welcome to or back to my channel. Today I have another language learning video for you all. We're going to talk about something that I've definitely run into, and I know a lot of other language learners have also run into this problem, and it is what to do after you've taken a long break from your studying. And trust me, I know this just as well as any other language learner. So this video is going to be all about how to start studying again after a long break, whether that's a few days, a few weeks, a few months, or maybe even years. And also, if you didn't know, I have a language learning workbook that will help you create an effective study plan. It's available at my online store, which I'll link down below. It's $7 and it will give you all the steps you need to create an effective study plan every week or month or for the whole year. So definitely be sure to check that out at the link below. So first off, don't be frustrated with yourself. Trust me, it happens to everyone. At some point we get off track and we stop studying whatever language we're trying to learn. So don't get frustrated, don't get mad at yourself. It happens to everybody. But I'm gonna go over 5 tips that will help you get back on track, and hopefully just watching this video is enough motivation for you to get started again. Okay, so my first tip is to watch something that motivates you. There's a few reasons I say this is the first tip. One of them is because just watching something like a show or a movie is relatively simple, and it's a lot more simple than jumping into grammar. For me, whenever I sense that I'm losing motivation in Italian, I like to watch a show, a movie, some YouTubers in Italian, because just hearing the language again makes me realize just how much I really want to be able to speak the language, and that is one of my key motivators. So in my past videos, I've talked about finding what your motivation is for learning a language, and for me, one of my big ones is just being able to speak it because I think the Italian language is so beautiful. So when I hear it again, it makes me realize, oh, I really want to be able to speak fluently, and then that kind of kickstarts my motivation once again. But you could also just watch videos of whatever country you want to visit from whatever language you're learning. So for me, sometimes I will just watch travel vlogs of Rome or Florence or other cities in Italy because I think about how much I want to be there, and my main goal is to go back and live in Italy. So again, that is helping me think about one of my main motivators for learning Italian. So anything you can do to re-immerse yourself in the culture and pinpoint what your original motivation was for learning that language. And tip 2 before you start is determining whether or not you have to review anything or you just completely have to restart. So let's say you were learning a language maybe for a few weeks or a month. You might want to go back and think, okay, should I just kind of start on a new slate? Or is there anything I need to review before I just jump right back into where I was? I think if you're a little bit further along, like maybe you have been studying for a year and you take a break, you probably want to go back and do some review of maybe past verb tenses or some vocabulary, but you probably don't have to completely restart if you've been studying the language already for a year. You should also reevaluate your study plan, because obviously something wasn't working if you lost motivation to study. So I would go back and reevaluate, okay, what didn't I like? What did I like? Because remember, you don't have to study the language the way people tell you to. You don't have to study it like we did in school, where you're writing out these conjugations and you're working through these exercises that you don't think are helpful. If you want to learn the language by just watching shows or talking with a native speaker every day, that's totally fine. You have to figure out what works for you and not do what other people say you should be doing, because everyone learns differently. Okay, now tip number 3 is to ease back into studying. I think one big thing not to do is to write out a whole monthly plan and be like, I'm gonna study for an hour every single day. No, I think that is way too overwhelming, and you should definitely break it into small bite-sized pieces if you want to get back into studying. I think what you can do is just say, oh, today I'll study for just 10 minutes. And usually those 10 minutes will turn into a lot longer if you're already in the studying mode. So definitely try to set goals that are so achievable they're almost too easy, like 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, just to ease back in. But don't spend a ton of time coming up with this huge, robust, month-long study schedule, because the second you mess up one of the days or you skip a day, you're gonna feel terrible, and I'm just telling you, you don't want to deal with that. You'll really become unmotivated after that. And another thing with just easing back in is ease back in with the things you enjoy doing to study. So for me, when I ease back in, it's watching my favorite Italian YouTubers and catching up on some videos that I missed, or watching a new series in Italian. It's not, oh, I'm gonna work on the grammar that I missed, or I'm gonna start learning a new verb conjugation, because that isn't the most fun part of learning a language for me. So definitely when you ease back in, try to do it with the most exciting or thing that you're most passionate about within the language. And tip number 4 is to create a short-term study plan. So I kind of mentioned this earlier, saying don't try to create this huge month-long new study plan. I know it can be exciting to try to do that, but I would say just plan out the next few days or the next week of studying, because again, you don't want to overwhelm yourself, because you could really get frustrated if you skip a day or you mess up your schedule. So try to keep it as simple as possible. Like I said in past videos, you really don't have to study every single day, because you probably will burn out, and it's better to take some breaks in between studying. Another fun thing to do is just writing out, maybe you'll study every other day for 15 to 20 minutes, and you can create a checklist or a little calendar of all the tasks that you want to do, and if you cross them all off your list or you get all of them done at the end of the week, I don't know, have a reward for yourself or something you can treat yourself with, because it's good to reinforce your hard work with some sort of reward. That could be food, a treat, going somewhere fun, buying something nice. It's fun to have that reward for yourself after you complete all the tasks and the studying that you wanted to get done. And then tip number 5 is to find a language partner or a tutor. And I know for some people, especially me in the beginning, this was very daunting and scary. I was scared to talk with an actual native speaker because I was very self-conscious of my Italian. But one really good way to prevent yourself from losing your motivation to learn a language is having someone that can hold you accountable. So for me, I schedule 2 tutoring sessions every single week with my tutor on italki, and she's really nice, and we just have normal conversations. It's not really like a tutoring, like learning grammar and all that kind of stuff. It's more of just like practicing talking with a native speaker. And you can do that for free on HelloTalk and Tandem. Those are 2 apps that I've talked about before where you can meet native speakers for free. And if you kind of set up a routine of talking with them, you obviously don't want to leave them hanging. So it's kind of holds you accountable to keep learning the language and keep getting better if you do have a study partner. I also feel that, languages are meant to be spoken. And for me, I've noticed the biggest improvement when I have talked with a tutor. And if you do want to try italki, you don't have to have any knowledge of the language. I mean, I felt like I started when I was really bad. I could barely form one sentence, but it really does help. And I've seen the biggest improvement just by talking. So you can start off on italki even if you just started learning a language today or yesterday. So I also have a code down below that I will link so you can get started on italki. This isn't sponsored, but I genuinely just really like italki, and it's really affordable too. It's really not hard to find an affordable way to talk to a native speaker and practice. You can have, like I do, just normal conversations, but you can also have a teacher who helps you with grammar and vocabulary and all that kind of stuff that you need when learning a language. Okay, so those were my tips, and I just want to remind you not to get mad or frustrated with yourself. I'm serious when I say that every single language learner has gone through some point where they're just like have no interest in studying the language anymore. But I promise you that the language you are learning is always there waiting for you. You can always come back to it, so don't get too upset. You probably just got burned out, and you can always restart and re-find that initial motivation that helped you start learning a language. So I would just say, remember to ease back into it and start with a small, manageable schedule that will help you get back on track without a lot of pressure or feeling like you have to do this, you have to do that. Just make it fun and easy and simple. And of course, if you need more help with creating a study schedule or figuring out how to develop your own study routine, when to study, how to study, I have plenty of videos on that on my channel. I'll be posting a lot more videos throughout this whole month of December. So be sure to subscribe and like this video if you found it helpful. If you guys do follow me, you know that I have started to make videos in Italian. They always have English subtitles as well, so all of my English speaking followers can understand them. And I also highly recommend, creating a YouTube channel or Instagram or something something where you can practice speaking whatever language that you're learning. I found that it's been very helpful and I've been very supported by all of you. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all again soon.